2023 was the hottest year on record. Scientists called the results astounding, warning that with every climate record broken, the worsening effects of climate change are becoming more dire. And though the news headlines are concerning, not all hope is lost. There are some grand ideas poised to change the direction the planet is headed. With threats to our water, food, energy, and transportation sectors, experts are responding with breakthrough technologies and innovation to meet the goal of creating a more sustainable and hopeful future for our planet. Hi, I'm Sarah Pilla, and like many of you, I'm concerned about our future here on Earth. Scientists say that the window of opportunity to secure a livable and sustainable future is rapidly closing. But I'm feeling hopeful too. The window isn't closed yet, and there are many intelligent and passionate people innovating major solutions in the fight for our planet. On this Spectrum News special, Innovations for a Sustainable Climate, we partner with USC's Sol Price School of Public Policy and the Center for Sustainable Solutions to address the questions: how did we get here, and what can be done to stop this crisis? I spoke with some experts in the field of climate science who are advocating for change. Our majestic planet Earth that we call home is in crisis, and our global ecosystems are changing. From the equator to the poles, the planet is under increasing stress, and our home that we've come to know and love could become a hotter and different world. Because since the late 19th century, Earth's average surface temperature has risen over 1 degree Celsius.
We are increasing still our emissions, and thereby we are heating up the planet quite a lot.
Human activities are the primary driver of this change, mainly through the emissions of greenhouse gases. And in response, Earth is warming at an unprecedented rate. 2023 became Earth's hottest year on record and was the hottest 12-month period in at least 125,000 years. This warming is affecting many weather and climate extremes across every region of the globe.
Driest 3 years on record, and really within an instant we transitioned to the 3 wettest weeks on record.
We're heading towards a global tipping point if average worldwide temperatures rise to or surpass 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. But while scientists claim humanity has caused the problem, it has also come up with solutions. Former chair of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Dr. Wei-Sung Lee, says there's still time to avoid the point of no return.
It's a tall order, but technology is there, finance is there.
Speaking to the crowd at the University of Southern California's Solutions to a Sustainable Future conference, Dr. Lee cited the latest findings of the IPCC's final synthesis report on climate change.
No matter what we do now, the Earth will continue to grow hotter and human suffering will worsen. The question is, how much worse will it get? The answer is entirely up to us.
And there are many people dedicated to solutions, some of which were at USC's conference to showcase their answers to some of climate change's most pressing issues, like the future of food.
To be able to make the best meat, fish, and dairy foods in the world way more sustainably directly from plant ingredients.
And the future of energy.
Hydrogen is attached to just about everything. So it's really a renewable domestic fuel.
And human behavior, how people can reduce their impact on the planet.
Eating less meat, taking public transportation instead of a car, or walking can be actions that we can take to make a difference.
Wendy Bruin de Bruin is a provost professor of public policy, psychology, and behavioral science at USC. Originally from the Netherlands, she now lives in Los Angeles and commutes on her bike. Her behavior has even encouraged some colleagues to start biking.
If you engage in a climate-friendly behavior, it may inspire someone else to do it as well.
Over our time together, we'll introduce you to the inspiring folks who are working on innovative, ambitious projects to make a difference in the fight against climate change. From transportation and energy to water and food, they're inspiring hope and action to save the future of humanity.
If we literally take care of the Earth, it will take care of us.
An inspiring message for all of us. Well, one way to take care of the planet is to get our transportation to 100% zero emissions. I visited the fuel cell garage at Toyota in Southern California and Aptera Motors headquarters to see how their innovative hydrogen and solar energy initiatives are getting closer to paving the way for a cleaner ride. Transportation is one of the largest contributors to human-caused climate change. In the United States alone, the transportation sector accounts for about a third of greenhouse gases. So, to reverse this trend, the automotive industry is in a race to innovate their vehicles to 100% zero emissions, and progress is being made. California is leading the way, hitting a milestone in 2023, where a quarter of all new cars sold were zero emissions. But the future of transportation is intricately linked to clean energy. And that's where we meet Jackie Birdsall, Senior Engineering Manager at Toyota North America, who spoke at the University of Southern California's Solutions for a Sustainable Future conference to talk about hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. Why is also hydrogen a very good option and one that we will need in addition to the battery electric to really completely transition our transportation industry?
That's a great question. You're totally right. When the public hears electric, they only think battery electric. Very few people actually know fuel cell electric vehicles exist. But Toyota does make one. It's called the Toyota Mirai, which actually in Japanese means the future. And it is an all-electric vehicle, but instead of plugging it in and recharging it, you refill it with hydrogen, which takes about 5 minutes. You can get 300 to 400 miles on a fill.
Toyota launched the Mirai in 2015. Jackie was an early adopter, and we visited her at Toyota's fuel cell garage in Torrance, California, to see where much of the technology for the vehicle was developed.
What this is it's called a hydrogen fuel cell. It combines hydrogen and oxygen to create water, and a byproduct of that water is electricity. And we use that electricity to power pretty much anything. In the case of the Toyota Mirai, it powers an electric motor.
Fuel cells are more energy efficient than combustion engines, and they only emit heat and water, eliminating any concerns about air pollution or greenhouse gases. But mass adoption of this technology is hindered by major infrastructure problems.
Hydrogen production is going to have to get leveled up. It's going to be a huge nationwide collaboration to make sure that both the infrastructure and the technology are being deployed at a time where our customers can use them in the way that they need to get around their lives.
Down in Carlsbad, California, the co-founder of Aptera Motors, Chris Anthony, is banking on a free resource, the sun, to power this vehicle for future customers to get around.
98% of the time, your car is sitting. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're in a store, you're at work, you're at home. So wouldn't it be great if your vehicle could actually produce power while it was sitting? And that's what the Aptera does.
In addition to Aptera's sustainability as a solar EV, it was designed to maximize efficiency. Its shape minimizes air resistance, it's made of lightweight composite materials, and the powertrain is in the wheels. I see you have 3 wheels instead of 4. That's by design too.
By design, the less frontal area you have, the more aerodynamically efficient you are. So if you throw 2 wheels in the back, you're catching a lot more air, so you're less aerodynamically efficient.
Better efficiency means they can spend less on drivetrain and battery packs to have a lower price point with 1,000 miles of range per charge. So Chris, what's your overall vision for sustainability with the Aptera?
Transportation today is having a disastrous impact on our environment. We feel it uses too many resources, it's too expensive. So how would you reinvent transportation? And we think if you reinvented transportation, you should do it with a focus on efficiency.
The Aptera is one answer for the future of transportation, but understandably, not everyone will want a 2-seater or have solar in gloomier climates. But hydrogen fuel cell may not work for everyone either. So far, California is the only state with a long-distance hydrogen network with less than 60 refueling stations. There's no silver bullet for the future of transportation, but rather it's going to take many innovative solutions like batteries, solar, and hydrogen fuel cell to get us to the zero emissions finish line. A big thanks to Toyota and Aptera for the behind-the-scenes tours and ride-alongs. Coming up, about a third of greenhouse gas emissions comes from our food system. But one solution to this problem is coming together in a lab on the UCLA campus. Stay with us. Welcome back to our Spectrum News special, Innovations for a Sustainable Climate. It goes without saying that food is a huge part of our lives, yet the food industry is a major source of greenhouse gas emissions. So what can be done? Well, some say it's alternative proteins and cultured meats. And I visited the UCLA Food Lab where researchers are developing a solution. The entire food system contributes about a third of total greenhouse gas emissions. Production of meat is a large portion of that total, but understandably, it may be hard to get the entire population to stop eating meat. So, to address this problem, the future of food could come out of a lab. And the research is happening right here at the Alternative Protein Project at the University of California, Los Angeles. Here in the ROAT lab, graduate student researcher Stephanie Kvetsky is working on improving food sustainability through alternative proteins.
The idea is to make delicious products. We can make them more sustainable. We can avoid the ethical concerns with traditional farming or factory farming, I have to clarify. And we can also make it more nutritious too and more available to populations that are in need.
Rather than making alternative proteins out of plants, this lab is creating cultured meat, using animal cells to create classic cuts of meat that people are used to eating. Stephanie's focus is on layering muscle and fat to make a marbled steak.
Our process to make marble cultured meat is under a patent application, and so there's potential for companies to potentially license that so that they can use it in their company.
The research is more than work to Stephanie, but a passion project. She became vegetarian in elementary school after learning about factory farming, a type of industrialized farming where large numbers of animals are confined to small spaces. Cultivated meat could prove beneficial not only for animal welfare, but to drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions and achieve global climate, health, and biodiversity goals. Michael Obersteiner is the director of the Environmental Change Institute at the University of Oxford and visited the University of Southern California's Climate Solutions Conference to talk about the future of food.
70% of water abstracted is actually for agricultural purposes.
What ways can this area decarbonize fast enough to hit the targets that we need to hit in order to meet our emissions goals?
For me, the quickest would be you just eat better. Better for yourself and better for the planet. And this typically involves eating less meat, because the meat sector is the one that uses most land and therefore knocks down most forests indirectly.
Studies suggest that cultivated meat could reduce land use by 90% compared to conventional beef and reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 92% if produced by renewable energy. But Impossible Foods founder Pat Brown says the solution to a sustainable food future is replacing animals entirely in the global food system.
So develop the full set of know-how and tools to be able to make the best meat, fish, and dairy foods in the world way more sustainably directly from plant ingredients.
Impossible Foods makes meat from plants and believes this method is the way to cut our carbon footprint and feed a rising population for generations to come. But meat production is projected to nearly double by 2050 to meet that growing demand. Pat says the way to change eating habits is to make tastier options.
Consumers think, oh, you're going to take away my burger, you're going to take away my chicken nuggets or whatever. No, that's not going to happen because it doesn't work that way. I mean, that's not going to drive the change. You'll have a better burger and a better chicken nugget and those foods that you love, but they'll be made a much better way that's much less destructive, and we're not going to need this insanely destructive technology, animal agriculture, to give you what you need, and they'll be more affordable.
In 2022, the plant-based meat and seafood retail industry generated over $6 billion in global sales. The entire alternative protein industry is still in its early stages, but once scaled, it could lessen pressure on the planet and mitigate climate change, reducing emissions, requiring far less land, and feeding more people with fewer resources. And while cultured meat has promise, its total sustainability is still up for question.
As researchers, we need to keep that in mind so that as we're developing these protocols and these approaches, that we're developing sustainable practices.
But to tackle the climate crisis, innovations for alternative proteins could be the solution for the future of food and agriculture around the world. Coming up, we get a behind-the-scenes look at California's Pure Water Project. Stay with us. Climate change is making floods and drought worse, and it's becoming an unpredictable reality for water managers. But states like California are now banking on an innovative water recycling program that is promising access to millions of gallons of water a day. Water is the lifeblood of our planet and is vital to every aspect of human survival. But climate change is affecting our access to this necessary resource, causing more severe droughts and floods.
Climate change has really impacted our water supplies.
The race to create a climate-resilient water supply couldn't be more dire to Rupam Soni, who's the Community Relations Team Manager at the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California.
We need to create new water supplies that are climate independent, and that's what Pure Water Southern California is.
Extensive testing to create the future of water is taking place here at the Grace F. Napolitano Pure Water Southern California Innovation Center in Carson, California.
It's taking water we're already using and purifying it so we could reuse it again.
Creating a drinking water supply is a new frontier for Metropolitan, which formed in 1928 to import water to drought-prone Southern California from the Colorado River and later from Northern California. The wholesaler delivers water to 26 member agencies, but climate change has strained these resources, with the alarm sounding loudly in 2021 when the federal government declared the first ever water shortage on the Colorado River. So, to adapt to these changing times, Metropolitan is investing in pure water, and when it's fully operational, will be one of the largest water recycling programs in the world.
The heart of our innovation center here is our demonstration plant, and we're conducting some cutting-edge research on water reuse here that's beneficial for the program, but also for water reuse across California and even the globe. The data and research we're doing here truly has beneficial impacts to everyone.
This demonstration facility sits on a wastewater treatment plant and began testing in 2019. To clean the water to the highest standard, it goes through a state-of-the-art three-step purification process: membrane bioreactors, reverse osmosis, and UV light and advanced oxidation. This is now what a stable supply looks like. Traditionally, water planners relied on Mother Nature's historical weather and climate record, but Metropolitan's resource planning manager, Dimitri Polizos, says that's no longer dependable.
What we're seeing with climate change, the weather patterns are shifting and things are becoming more extreme. And the type of precipitation we're seeing is different. So instead of seeing a lot of snow, we're seeing more rain. And again, the system just wasn't built to handle mass inflows of water like we're seeing what the climate experts are telling us we should expect in climate change. And we've also started to already see that today.
Weather whiplash became a new term in California after going from drought to deluge. The state experienced its 3 driest years on record from 2020 to 2022, followed by one of its wettest and snowiest years in 2023, which flooded parts of the state. California's Department of Water Resources Director Carla Namath says they are planning for the new normal.
There are ways in which we can adapt our existing infrastructure to handle that better, to modernize that infrastructure in terms of our ability to really capture it when it's coming down very intensely, and then get it stored underground or in above ground reservoirs that are undergoing an expansion. but then also recycle it when it comes into the community. So we're no longer using water once or twice, we're using it 3 times.
And that's exactly Pure Water's mission. The program is currently undergoing its environmental review phase and is expecting to come online in 2032, where it will be able to produce up to 150 million gallons a day, which is enough to meet the needs of 1.5 million people.
Our goal is to make sure that our region continues to thrive and has access to clean, safe water.
And it's facilities like this that are innovating the future of water to be available no matter what Mother Nature does or doesn't bring. It's really encouraging to see the commitment behind the innovative breakthroughs that could help us adapt to a cleaner, greener future. Well, I hope you feel inspired by the people and technological advancements addressing solutions for a changing climate. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to our partners at the USC Sol Price School of Public Policy and the Center for Sustainability Solutions. As Dr. Wei-Sung Lee said, it's important to remember, if we take care of the earth, it will take care of us. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye, everyone.